Good evening. My name is Ethan Frank. I am proud to share with you this magnificent story of an astronaut floating in outer space. Find a comfortable position to pause before sleep. Relax. Breathe deeply. Once you're comfortable, close your eyes. Now, let's enjoy this journey through time and space. Brightening the horizon is a star, so vast in relation to the celestial bodies lining its solar system. The star is called Alt-Sun, and it beams with light and has the potential to emanate radiation-based spires that project as solar flares. If this is to occur, magnetic energy will burst into the sun's coronal atmosphere, causing a bright flash of light and a surge of electricity. On the other hand, there is another sun phenomenon called a coronal mass ejection. CMEs are often associated with solar flares, but they are not truly the same. CMEs are plasma expulsions at magnetic field projections. They are more extreme in that they blow past the atmosphere of the sun. They are massive, hence the term. Both solar flares and CMEs are deadly to the floating astronaut snared within the orbit of planet Danog, similar to our system's Mercury, about 70 million miles from Alt-Earth at this time and approximately 60 million miles from Alt-Sun. The danger lies in the matter that Alt-Sun is much bigger than Earth and will have a great impact on the astronaut's survival time in space. And, by the way, these sun projections are exactly what the drifting astronaut is pondering. They could occur multiple times in a day. The other possibility is that these projections are less frequent in the recent future behavior of this star. That would be nice, a nice long space drift. The ticking clock to death is unknown, but alarmingly near at hand. Within the astronaut's visual field between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, there is the suspended planet Danog. Its rocky and gray surface is extraordinarily clear, crystal clear, void of an atmosphere that could veil any of its edgy features. Space weathering is not yet an issue on today's Danog agenda. No red coloring taints the planet's aesthetic. The astronaut sees this as a good omen. He knows, as time creeps forward, Danog will shift and its color patterns will evolve. Time. Attempting to conceptualize it in this state is a lark. This wandering, floating space drift is too consumed by it. The danger it presents from the impending consequences of the sun is a stale quality that presses a bit of madness into the astronaut's brain. Time is slow, and time is a problem. In the meantime, the journeyer can relish in the rarely seen beauties that are the planets, sun, organic debris, and meteorites whirling in the panorama. Alt-Sun, at the astronaut's back, makes no sound. There is a silence in the vacuum of outer space. But objects move, debris missiles through the dark. Where is the next piece that could pose yet another threat to survival? Is it 100 miles away, coming towards him? Or will everything pass him by? Best not to think of these things. They are events out of the astronaut's control. Best not to think of the depleting oxygen in his tank either. Maybe even best not to think. Just float endlessly into deep space, towards inevitability, towards fate. But to stay still is not the habit of man. Thoughts have a tendency to race while bored, while floating. Imagination can be a gift. So our journeyer begins to recount the past series of sequences lingering in his mind. The ship ejected him into the heartless night. His comrades were not at fault. No one could or should be blamed. Propelled outwardly from the ship at an extraordinary speed, he is now a celestial body. He is a star, like the sun. Pooling cells in his body swim like the plasma of the sun. He is alive, as the sun is alive. He begins a game to pass the time. The game is a simple one. Locate every mass collectively in his field of vision one by one. Recite them back to himself in the same order. Then incorporate new objects as he sees them, and repeat from the beginning. A mental exercise of sorts. Add verbs to create a sense of peace. Verbs will personify the objects. He will have friends appear. Danog, shining in its magnitude. Alt-Earth, swimming as a tiny blue-green orb in an elliptical transit, but viewed as a hovering speck. Orion, hunting. Orion Nebula, creating. The Butterfly Cluster and the Cat's Paw Nebula housed in the constellation Scorpius. Ursa Major, the bear, lurking. The Pinwheel Galaxy and the Whirlpool Galaxy are the bear's friends. Cassiopeia, the queen, with the heart and soul of a raging beauty. The Coalsack Nebula of the constellation Crux is hiding its neighbors like a jealous beast. So many stars, so many comrades in the sky. A luminous night, beautiful, wonderful. Danog, Alt-Earth, Bellatrix, Rigel, Beetlejuice, Antares, Shala, spaceship. Wait, spaceship? That can't be possible. Sweet love of Mother Earth. Breaths become weak. Our astronaut's vision is blurred. As he becomes dizzy, he is losing oxygen. He is breathing something that is now a thin mixture of air. All he can think of are the stories of Everest and the kinds of dangers that come from a lack of oxygen. Brain damage is close at hand. Death is close. Darkness is near. But the spacecraft is closing in. Will it make it in time? That was his last thought. The image of Everest sets in his mind. The whirling strips of cloud that veil the peak. His eyelids droop. He manages to flicker them a bit. It does not help. Eyelids close. All of his friends in space. Gone. Darkness. Eyelids flicker open. Light pours into his vision. He is lying down. Gravity. His new best friend. White light. Almost blinding. The stinging sensation pressing into his mind's eye as a result of the harsh whiteness. No helmet. Cool air. Oxygen. As the vision stinging abates, he can see that he is lying on a cushiony lounge in the middle of a stark white room, and the light source seems to be the room itself. This is not his ship. This is something foreign. Alien. No spacesuit. He wears solidly colored clothes that lightly caress his skin. He is free. Free of the suit and its constraints. Free of the drift. Free of the artificial air. Free of the weightlessness. Or Is he a hostage? Is he a prisoner on an unknown ship? He gets up from the furniture piece and walks aimlessly towards nothing. The room looks to be endless. There. A corner. No, not so. His mind is playing tricks. He should be emotional, but he only feels curious, exploratory. What is this science? What is this change from reality? Can he drift past his feelings as he drifted through space? Is his mind drifting through this science of change? One thing is clear. This ship is an evolution. This is advancement. He paces more quickly, but now more methodically as well. Then, it happens. The room changes into a series of shapes. From an endless vastness to a shifting, patterns form. Squares spin into ellipses, into dimensional phenomena. Is this the fourth dimension? Maybe this is death. The shapes begin circularly, then sharp. They move front to back, then side to side. They float. They expand and contract. It's not as if the shapes hover towards him, but he seemingly moves towards them. He feels like he's flying through the room, but he's standing still. Fearfully still. Now is new. Now is time and space stopped. The all-encompassing patterns that have engulfed him have paused. This disruption is painfully scary. The millions of squares and ellipses are just hanging there in front of him. What if they collapse in a mathematical death trap and slice him into bits? How much do these things weigh? But another event occurs. There is movement on the horizon. From afar, an army of figures approach. Everything is dimmed white, including them, but they approach with an intimidating determination. As they close in from the great distance, the shapes abruptly disappear. They are almost upon him. They wave? At a loss, he waves back. His croaking voice is used for the first time in so long. It says to himself, "There is nothing to fear. These are your friends in the stars." Did he say that? The words were forced to his lips with a comforting thought. It was such an incredible relief because in that moment he knew it to be true. His eyes well with tears of joy. The age-old question of, are we alone in the universe, is answered, and the neighbors we have found are good ones. They show him outside the room. It is nothing imagined before. It is a wondrous ecosystem metropolis. It is barely a ship. He must have seen the craft as an illusion in space. This is a planet made from these alien beings, except they only live amongst themselves. Therefore they welcome him with gratitude and warmth. They teach him to engineer worlds. They teach him their science. He is neither their apprentice nor subordinate. He lives among them as an equal. He does not find a companion among them, however. He lives alone, but he likes it that way. He likes the solitude. He relishes the exploratory work he sets to do freely. He becomes an engineer of a great science in the stars. He is happy because he has found his purpose. They give him quarters on their ship world, and he lives there many years while they heal his aging body with a miraculous science. Heal his body from time. After 100 years of discovery and practice, his world building takes an extraordinary leap. He begins to teach them. They and he agree. It is time to move on. They land him on another world, somewhere beautiful. He is at peace.